All righty, folks, I want to welcome you back to a returning guest. We are going to get to talk to Ricky Kruth once a month, which is just a great thing for the One Rental at a Time channel. And all I got to know, Ricky, is I have called August the bottom of the housing market. I believe what we've seen in the last week is going to prove to be true. September activity, the first week or so, has been much more than expected. I expect a strong fall housing market, certainly stronger than the last couple of years. But hey, you are in it. You are talking to real estate agents and brokers each and every day, and my data might be biased. What say you?
Oh man, no, you're absolutely right. I'm the same way. I think we might have talked about it on the last show. I called August 1st as the bottom. That was the jobs report that came out that was horrific. And ever since then, we've seen it. Rates have just kind of been continuing to drop. And then I believe it was Friday, maybe Thursday, we saw the greatest one-day drop in over a year for mortgage rates. They got down to like
Friday.
6.3 or something like that. So like we saw this massive drop mortgage rates, and a lot of people are like, well, it was only, why are you calling that massive? And I did a video and it went viral. It's like 200,000 views, and
Nice.
people were like, it's not enough, and these kind of comments. And the thing is you don't understand what I'm saying here is that that move, that one day drop, was literally on the news. It wasn't on any actions that actually happened behind what the Fed is looking to do over the next 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. It was just the news of that jobs report that came out, the August jobs report. So August 1st, we had that really horrific jobs report, and then now last week we had another horrendous jobs report of August. And literally, the biggest drop we've seen in a day got down to a 12-month low mortgage rates on the news. In my video, I'm like, this is on the news of this happening, guys. Like wait till you see what happens when the Feds get aggressive over the next couple of months, which it seems like, the tone of what the Fed is saying and Jerome Powell, it really seems like they're going to get aggressive. JP Morgan, I think, said that they're looking at like 4 cuts this year. It's like, do we even have that many opportunities left? It's so when we know mortgage rates aren't correlated to Fed rate, exactly, right? And so some of this could be baked in a little bit. It depends on the temperature of the investors and so forth. But the fact of the matter is we're trending in the opposite direction. And people don't realize it, that the market is moving in the other direction. It is pivoted and moving that way, but it doesn't seem like it looking from the outside. It's like, oh, it's kind of the same. It's because these things move so slow. And this is the message that I really want people to understand, is that these cycles with real estate move so slow. Once you understand these cycles, you've been doing it for a long time, it's easy to really understand where we are and where we're going. It's super telegraphed.
I think there's so much in that. I just want to give people the data. So on Friday, we saw the largest single day drop in mortgage rates, actually bottoming at 6.29. We have seen historically over the last 3 years that rates matter, right? Rates matter equals prices. We're seeing, millions of folks who would not get a yes answer from a mortgage broker at 7. They will get a yes answer at 6. By some accounts, there's over 1 million people that are now actually able to get approved just with the drop we've seen from 7.07 to 6.29. It only gets better from here. It's estimated that if rates got to 5.5, we would unlock nearly 6 million buyers who are interested but can't get a yes answer. Because again, folks, in housing, it's always about payment. Too many of you are focused on price. And these doomers out there have got you convinced that price is everything. It's not. Housing is about price, rate, and wages. Something else a lot of people have missed, Ricky, is that wages have been up in real and nominal terms the last couple of years. And every month that goes by where wages increase, that is bringing more and more buyers to the market. So again, we have had 3 years of housing being in a recession. Some might call it a depression. Yeah. And
almost 4 years. So what's interesting is when you look at a chart, when you think about that fact right there, that we've been in this down cycle for almost 4 years now. When you look at a chart going back to the 70s or whatever, of home sales, and you'll see this line. Like if you see this average line, and if you'll notice, every time that home sales gets down to around 4 million home sales, give or take, it seems like that's always like a 3 or 4 year run. And then afterwards, it shoots right back up to 5 million. It's done that the last 3 cycles, 3 or 4 cycles. It's 4 cycles, like the late 70s, the 2000s, the 2008s, and now here we are sitting right here where we are. And it's like after 3 or 4 years, like you can only take that 4 million, and the whole time pent up demand is brewing, and we have more than we've ever had in history, because people don't stop wanting to buy homes. There was a survey that came out that said somewhere around 90%, I can't remember if it was like 87 or 92% of Gen Z want to become homeowners. Now, a lot of those people, there's like 50% or something of that, or 20-30% that said that they felt like the system was rigged against them, and to own a house and all this stuff. But the fact of the matter is that they do have the desire and they want to own a home. The desire doesn't go away just because affordability, skyrocketed. The desire is still there. So while people can't afford to buy homes, their desire just grows more and more and more. And then when you come out the back end of one of these cycles that we're in, it's just an absolute explosion. A lot of people think that we're still going to have a crash. They think that prices are still going to crash and burn. But you're right about wages, because a lot of people are thinking, well, how are we going to get out of this affordability thing? And the answer is time. Because if prices slow down, which they have, prices have slowed down from growth, right? If prices slow down and then wages increase over the course of a couple of years, and see, we're going to get the trifecta here. We're going to get the trifecta of prices settling down, even dropping in some markets. We're going to get the trifecta of years have went by to increase wages, and now we're going to get rates. So those 3 things you talked about are all improving slowly. And it's just going to create an explosion. And sure, there's still going to be people that can't afford houses. That's true at all times.
Exactly.
There's never been a time where every single person in the U.S., they want us to just give them homes. I mean, so you're right.
Well, we tried that, giving homes back in 2006. That did not work out well. Let's not do that again. I don't want to do that again. But this is exactly, what we've been talking on this channel for a long time, is the cure for this is just time, right? I'm on record as saying we got all of the decades of appreciation in 2 years, and it's just going to be flat, right? And again, this is flat nationally. Every market will be different, right? You do you in your market. But when we just have wage growth stacking on top of each other, and then just a generally lower interest rate, time is the answer. And to your point, I mean, as a kid, right, we used to play outside with the garden hose, and if you wanted to stop it from running, you would just you would crimp it, right? And that pressure builds up, and I think we're going to have a shockingly strong fall housing market, right? I don't think it's a secret to anybody that the spring housing market this year sucked. Total dud. Nothing. Nothing. But I'm on record saying that the fall market is going to shock people. And just given in the last 7 days, I have real evidence in my community. There was a guy that had a buy box in Austin, Texas. 5 homes in his buy box had days on market over 100. This weekend, he texts me. He goes, Michael, they're all pending. Now, we don't know what they're pending at, right? They probably took a cut, but that just shows activity. I got another one for you, Ricky. I was negotiating directly with Lennar to buy the last 3 homes in a community that I want to own in. I was going to buy all 3, right? Volume discount, financing, the whole bit. I was probably on round 3 of the negotiations. We were just splitting hairs at the end of that. And they called me and said, Michael, unfortunately, all 3 are pending now. Dude, that Friday note has sparked demand. So I'd be curious, other stories you're hearing from agents and brokers across the country, because again, all markets aren't the same. But I think when you got CNBC and Fortune talking about the largest drop in mortgage rates in a while, I think that wakes up buyers.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, it's like positive news. Who would have thought?
Yeah, who would have
But
thought?
no, you're
Go think.
but you're right. No, I've got all my agents, right? I do a call every week with agents all over the country, and there's a lots of stories of all kinds of activity and uptick just in the last 2 weeks. And actually, if you go back just like past 7 days, it really ramped up. Even right before that one day drop,
Yeah,
it was already the activity is like unlike they've seen all year long. And speaking
exactly.
about, the spring was really bad considering what spring is supposed to be like.
Yeah.
But 2026 spring, you're talking about fall,
Yeah.
and like fall is now. And I think that when we see the data for this fall, it is going to be something really incredible. But next spring is like, I think that's where we're going to see the big
Oh,
push.
it's gonna be
Um,
nuts.
and it just depends on rates and when they drop and how they drop and everything
What do,
else.
what do
But
you what do you think if you had to pick a number, Ricky, just off the top of your head? What's the magic number? Is
yeah,
there a
yeah,
magic number?
that's what there is a magic number. And I think what's interesting is that as we approach that magic number, let's say it's 575 or 59 or
I think
five.
you've nailed it. I think it's 599. There's just
Yeah,
something
right.
magical about
Oh,
that
yeah, yeah,
five
yeah, yeah, yeah,
handle.
yeah. I think as soon as it gets under 6 on a national average, then it's gonna
Boom.
be Hiroshima. But the thing is the thing is as we approach that magic number, every basis point that we drop, it unlocks a huge, really hundreds of thousands of home
Yeah.
buyers. Every basis point is unlocking hundreds of thousands of potential. Now, that doesn't mean every single one of those are going to go out and buy a
Oh, of
home,
course not.
but
Yeah, of
but
course.
but the fact is that they can be approved, and there's a huge percentage of those that will go out and take advantage of the opportunity because again, they've been waiting years for this.
Yes.
That's what's so exciting about the market moving forward. People are like, well, I should probably continue to wait. But prices are still high. It's like, no, but it's the mortgage payment, really, like the national mortgage payment, the average payment, the median payment, that's what you need to really pay attention to in terms of when you think if you're trying to time the market, which never works out for anyone, is that median mortgage payment, not prices, not even really
Payment.
rates, right? It's
Payment.
more about what that payment is and what percentage of that payment of people's wages does it consume. Those are the most important metrics when you think about this. And when you
Hmm.
dig deeper into it, you realize, well, if that's the case and rates drop under 6, then we're going to see prices, we in July, I think national median home prices were at an all-time high. You know,
All-time high
you
for
know that
July. Yes.
you
Yes.
know that that smokes these guys out here that have just been screaming that the
Yeah.
the market was going to crash and stuff. And what they've been doing is they've been going on into these local markets like Florida
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Cherry
Austin.
picking. Yeah.
Yeah, it's down 20% here and builders are giving it away. But like nationally, I mean, there was just a report that came out in the past day or two that overall $55 trillion is the
Hmm.
new housing market US worth,
Equity. Yep.
which is an all-time high.
Yeah.
So
All-time high.
I mean, so
That actually goes to my next point, Ricky. And again, I think this is going to prove valid. So I think we both are seeing in real time demand pickup, right? Which is interesting. But the other side benefit, the other part of the financial industry that's been cooked the last 3 years is mortgage. The mortgage
mortgage.
industry has been dead,
Mhm.
and we are about to see. We get refi rates under 6. We are about to see asset owners, homeowners, investors line up at the ATM machine and start extracting some of this equity, right? We
I
just
believe
talked about
so.
55 trillion. Yeah, it's
I
going to
believe
happen. We're
so.
going to see trillions of dollars in equity pulled out. Now, in fairness, if you want to be a doomer, you could say they're doing that because they have to. But I got to imagine a lot of them are going to do great things. They're going to invest it. They're going to upgrade their properties. They're going to do this, that, the other. We are about to see. I think the mortgage industry is going to have a great Q4. What do you think?
that money is going to get circulated into the economy, and it's just going to
Exactly.
spur it's just going to spin that economic cycle, and we're going to see a great stock market. We're going to
Money's going to go
see
somewhere. Yeah.
everything, all boats. We're going to see everything increase. And you're right. The refi market has been actually on fire here lately. I mean,
Yeah.
even a couple of weeks ago, when we saw a slight decrease in conventional mortgage applications, there was a nice increase in the refi applications. And again, this is before we saw the big drop after
Yep.
the jobs report. So yeah, because prices have held so solid. This is what's interesting, that prices have held so solid, even in these markets where prices are down 10-20%. We talked about on the last show. Even at that price, the current price being dropped, they're still up like 30-40%, from 2020 or 2019. So, prices are holding really solid for people to actually have that equity where it's actually tangible. If we were in this bubblish market where their equity is going to disappear, you borrow against your equity, then the equity disappears. Now you owe more than the home is worth.
Mm-hmm.
Then
Yeah.
that presents some risks in the overall market and everything. But the fact that prices are holding solid and people are like, wow, I've got, all this equity. I mean, the stats are like half the homes out there are owned free and clear anyway. They wouldn't be taking out a second mortage. They'd be taking out a home equity
First.
first,
Yeah.
a first mortgage, number one.
Yeah.
Number two, like 30% or half, I guess half of the other half that actually have mortgages, they have a 50% equity
Yep.
stake in their
Exactly.
property. And so there really is all this equity out there that is tangible, that is not very risky to take out because prices are holding so solid. And now we're at the bottom of the market, where if we start to see increase, in market activity, we see transactions increase, you're sitting on a very solid asset that's not in a bubblish situation, which is just going to spur more of these equity lines of credits that will also, increase. I mean, it's almost like stimulus.
It
It's
is.
almost like
Oh,
throwing
that's
stimulus
exactly
into the
what's
market.
occurring.
Yeah.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's only going to be for the folks who took action, right? Again, if you bought in the last 4 or 5 years, you're sitting on nice equity positions, and if you didn't listen to the doomers and you did the work and you found a great deal, again, I think there's going to be a lot of people that line up at the ATM machine, and we're going to see $1 trillion, at least $1 trillion in equity extracted, in my opinion. I'll call it in the next 12 months.
Yeah.
And that $1 trillion in equities is going to enter the economy some way, somehow, which is going to be a cool thing. And then let's talk about one more thing, Ricky. It's going to be the wind at the back for the housing. Is we have an administration, Scott Bessent, President Trump, about to declare a housing emergency. I really don't know what that will look like, but I'm going to guess they are going to incentivize transaction and building. So that's just more wind at the back, right?
I saw that. I didn't understand what it was. So there was no detail on that, right? Because I've dug in a little bit and I couldn't find anything on it. I really wanted to
Yeah.
understand what exactly that meant. So there's no telling what that means. Yeah,
Well,
I could only.
historically speaking, yeah, so I can do historically speaking. Again, as you know, the government can really only attack housing with one of two ways. One is supply. They can deregulate, they can supply land, they can sell off federal land, they could go after supply. That is slow and full of red tape because the federal government doesn't control housing, right? It's a very local thing. It's handled at the local and state level. Or we could see another version of President Obama. I mean, you probably remember this. President Obama,
Yeah.
I think it was in 2010, he said, housing sucks right now. I'm going to give all home buyers $8,000.
$8,000. Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah.
that's where I think this is going, is they're going to come out with, and oh, by the way, Ricky, let's be clear. It won't be $8,000. It'll be 15
Right.
or 20 or
Right.
25.
Right. I think that would be the thing that really spurs the market to like stir activity, but it
Crazy.
makes me wonder if it will just increase prices by 15 grand. Right. And so when Trump, I think before he was elected, he was talking about actually using some of the federal lands to build on
He did.
and taking
Yep.
some of those federal lands. And so that makes me wonder, okay, if he's declaring an housing emergency, is that kind of the direction he's going in? Like you were saying, like more incentives towards builders to build
Yep.
more and so on and so forth. But when it comes down to housing emergency, it makes me think it's more of a stimulus type package, like what you're saying.
Yeah.
And no, I remember that 8,000 because I was selling real estate at that time, and that was a big thing for us.
Oh, it did.
And I remember
Yeah.
the National Association of Realtors actually went in and lobbied for that, and
Mhm.
actually were the ones that pushed that through and really helped us
I
make
remember.
that happen. And it really helped the market at the time. So, and I remember what happened back then, like that, like 2010 was it basically, it's crazy because when that stimulus came through for home buyers, that was literally at the bottom of the transactions. That
Mhm.
2010-11 was the bottom
Yep.
of the 4 million a year transactions, which is
Yeah.
exactly where we are right now in the cycle. We're kind of at the tail end of the down part of the cycle, posed and positioned to kind of start to increase. And here we go. We
Here we
might get
go.
another stimulus type situation, which would do nothing but spur the market even
Yeah.
more than back then. Because back then, to be honest with you, nowhere near, not even close. Not it. The amount of pent up demand of people who hate their homes, right?
Yeah,
There's people in
exactly.
their homes that hate their homes right now. They've been in their
Yes.
home for way longer than they wanted to be. They didn't plan on staying this long. Their whole plan was to upgrade into a bigger, nicer home and continue to escalate and ride the ladder up the chain of nicer homes. And they've been in this home, they've outgrown it. They've had kids,
Mhm.
whatever. The amount of people who want to not only buy an upgrade but sell the one they're in to give us inventory is
Amen.
historic, because there's never been a time when we hit 2% mortgage or 2.9 or whatever it got down to mortgage rates.
Yeah.
There's never been a time like that, and then it shoot back up, lock these people in, and then it be down so long. Not to mention the amount of first-time home buyers. If you look back at the
Mhm.
90s, the spike in birth rate starting in 90, which puts people at 35. The average home buyer right now, first-time home buyer, is 38, which increased
Correct.
5 years over the past 3 years. I think that we're going to see a decrease in that. I think we're going to see the first-time home buyer, the age of first-time home buyers, right now it's 38. I think it's going to go back to
We could.
33 over the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years as the market
Good
kind of
call.
starts to rebound. And these people are
Good
going to
call.
rush the market. So we've got it coming from both ends. We've got trade up sellers who want to buy, and then they're going to give us that inventory to sell to these first-time home buyers who are
Mhm.
dying to buy. Like I said, 90% of Gen Z want to own homes. And as these mortgage rates come down, we're going to see them flood the market. So it's even better now. This is what I tell real estate agents. This is your 2008 on steroids. If you could get a time machine and go back to 2008, would you? Because now knowing what we know now, knowing what the market did, would you want to be around during that time, selling,
Mhm.
buying, et cetera, et cetera? Well, of course you would. But right now is literally that moment on steroids, because the rebound that we're going to have is far more violent than we could ever imagine. It's going to be something like we've never experienced. And we've all been through the 2003, 4, 5 leading up to the crash. We
Yeah.
just experienced 2021, which is a very historic year coming out of
Mhm.
COVID, and then having this massive, I'll pay you 100,000 more with no contingencies kind of
Yeah, that was
market, and
nuts.
I'm going to beat
Nuts.
out the other 20 offers. That was crazy. Um, you know, I don't
There
know.
you go.
I
Housing is
don't
about
know.
to boom, folks. I called it early. September is going to be better than the last couple of years. It's really building out of this.
I
Housing
guess
is
the
going to take
question
us
is
out
right
of a
now for home
recession.
buyers. Right now for home buyers, would you rather buy a home now when there's really not as much? Not, I mean, it's starting to get a little competitive, but not crazy. Would you
Yeah,
rather
correct.
buy a home now, right, at a lower price at a little higher rate, or would you want to, or you want to wait till literally there will be no inventory, right? 2026. I don't believe, because what's going to happen is the sellers who are sitting on the market saying, I don't care if my home sells, it's going to completely flip, and they're going to say, I got to sell it now. Why? because rates are going to get down to a point where now they're buying their home. Right now, they're not buying another home. They're just like, we'll sell it if it sells. But later next year, they're going to be buying their next home. And now they got to sell their home. Right.
Exactly.
And so all the inventory out there is good. See, there's a lot of fake inventory out there of
Correct.
sellers.
Wish pricing. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
That's going to change. They're going to need to sell. They're going to sell. And all this inventory is going to plummet. Even though we're going to get a lot of inventory on the market, it's going to get eat up by the demand.
Yeah.
That's what I foresee in 2026. I'm going to declare it the year of zero inventory.
You heard it here first, folks. Ricky's coming back each and every month. Ricky, where can people find you?
RickyCruth.com. Go to Instagram. Just look me up in the stratosphere. I'm everywhere.
Ricky Cruz. And if you do look him up, tell him say hi. Tell him thank you for coming on One Rental at a Time. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you, bro.